In this video, we're going to show you how to set up, configure, test, and perform ad hoc data masking. So the first thing we need to do is mount a virtual copy of a production database to our masking server. So in this case, I'm working with a SQL instance, and I'm going to mount that SQL instance. So this is an ad hoc mount, so we're not using a workflow yet. What we always want to do is manually test everything before we commit to a workflow. So I've chosen my server called DV1, and I'm going to call the database Mask Finance. So the source is finance. This is the middle name, Mask Finance. So I'm mounting it to the server where my masking software is going to be, and I'm going to call it Mask Finance. So that job is running, and we'll know that job has completed when two things happen. The first is under this PC, we'll get some extra drives, and the second is under SQL, we'll get an extra database. So we'll just wait a few seconds for that to happen. So what we can see is that some bonus drives have now suddenly appeared. So these are our virtual copies, and on these virtual copies is a database. So right now we're talking to the Actifio connector to start the database and rename it Mask Finance. So if I log in now, hopefully I should see a database called Mask Finance. So effectively the mount is ready, and what we can now do is start our masking software. So I've unpacked in C Drive DataVale our masking software, and I've kicked off DataVale Launch 64. Now, if the first time you run it you haven't applied a license file, you might get prompted. In this case, it doesn't look like I am. So I'm going to go to Database, and I'm going to add a database connection, and I'm going to connect to the database we just mounted. Now, obviously, it's rather hard to build a project if you don't have a database to work off. So in this case, I've got Mask Finance, and you can see in my project, I'm going to connect to the database, and I'm hopefully going to get a whole bunch of tables, which I do. Here's DBA random, and you can see what you can do now is effectively add various tables to the project. So what I'll do is I'll show you a project that I have already done, which is actually the one we're going to use. And this is called FinMask AV, and we're not going to save the one we've got. Now, what this project has done is already set up some masking. Now, it's prompting me for the key, which in this case is Actifio, very boring. But what we can see is we can actually go and view the masking that we've already done. We can see we've already done a whole bunch of names, phone, IBAN, and country. So what we'll do is I'll quickly run a preview run so you can see what it looks like. It's just going to do 20 samples. And down the bottom here we can see that Billy Reimer, oh sorry, let's try that again. Alfonso McDonald will be changed to Billy Reimer. Their IBAN will be masked, and their country will be changed from Lebanon to Micronesia. So there's a few changes here. Their phone number will also be changed. So these changes are just some examples of masking. Obviously, you could do a lot more, right? These are just some of the examples that we've chosen here. So the name, for instance, we're masking the full name. The phone, we're shuffling. The IBAN, we're redacting by replacing with alphanumeric characters. And the country, we're shuffling. Lots of choices. I'm not going to go through them all. That would be a massive video, a whole other subject. But what you can see is I've mounted the database, I've created a project, and I'm now ready to apply the project. So the next part of the journey here is to build our bat file, which will be calling the masking. And that bat file lives in C Drive Actifio program files scripts. And I'm going to open this up with Notepad++. And I want to show you just in here, these are the things you need to change, everything I've highlighted. Where is the DataVale exe? Where is the project? What was the key? Where is the license? And optionally, where are the logs? Just be careful here. Obviously, you always use the double backslashes. Leave this space and caret in place. Don't put any spaces to the right of the carets because that just confuses things. Change these as you want, name it as you want, and when we're ready, we can actually now run dvmask.bat. So if I open up a command window here, you can see I've actually previously already done this. So I'm already in C Drive program files Actifio scripts. What I want to do is run dvmask.bat space test. So this is presuming a whole bunch of things. It's presuming that a virtual copy of the database is mounted. It's presuming that your project is built and set up and ready to go. Presuming it is, this is actual masking running right now. So we can see that the masking software loaded and masking did occur, and it exited with exit code 0. So we know the masking has occurred. Now, if I nip down here, in fact what I should have done was actually done a display beforehand, but if I select the top 1,000 rows, you can see that row number 1 is Billy Reimer, right? And Billy Reimer is living in Micronesia, and the IBAN has been obscured, and while you can't really tell, the phone number has been changed. If I connect it to the source database, we can compare source with target. But what we know now is that the masking is working, and the neat thing is that's ad hoc masking. So where I've mounted now to my mask server, I could actually unmount that image, unmount it, and then mount it to a different server. That would be ad hoc masking without a workflow. But the nice thing here in this process is we've confirmed that I can build the project, I can run the masking manually, and I'm now